Hey guys, this is Josh from Spotted Euros. Behind me we have a 2016 Volkswagen Tiguan. Spotted Euros, we're a used car dealership. We're going to be wholesaling this Tiguan, so let's see if we make any money. So stay tuned. So if this is your first time watching, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. We come out with a lot of videos, buying and selling cars. It's a fun thing, so we try and make some fun videos. So like I said, behind me we have the 2016 Volkswagen Tiguan. If anyone cares to see when we picked this car up, check that video out. We picked this car up in San Francisco. It was the first time we flew to pick up a car. So the main problem with that is you're flying. The trip home, what was it, like 800 miles, 12 hours to get home. So as you can guess, if you show up and the car isn't quite ready for that sort of trek, you got a problem. But luckily we lucked out on this one. So the car is all cleaned up. I'm about to take it to the auction. Did a quick walk around already, but those who have watched the other one know, or the other video know, this car came pretty good already. So we just cleaned stuff up, vacuumed, wiped down the seats. Now I am gonna miss driving this around. I've had this car for about, it'll be a week and a half, almost 2 weeks. It's just a comfortable car. I like these Tiguans. This one in particular is a 2016. So the cool thing is they come pretty well equipped. Keyless entry, keyless start, backup camera. It's got the nicer head unit. So you can put in SD card. There's plenty of room. There actually seems to be more room in this somehow than the Touareg as far as this putting a car seat in the back. So that's nice. It doesn't have a sunroof, which I personally prefer. Now, might as well talk about how much we got this car for. So I picked up this car for $5,000. The auction or wholesale value on this car is about $8,000. So I should mention this car does have 90,000 miles. Well, let's see, 91,000 miles. So pretty high for a 2016. It came from Hertz. So the main reason I got this car so cheap is because of this. Well, not because of this. So the Tiguans, it's very common. Anyone owns a Tiguan out there, they know the intake manifold. There's a couple of wear points. Basically, the valves aren't opening completely. Intake manifold is it's a common issue, and it can be pretty expensive if you were to pay a shop to do it. Also, if you were to buy the part from the dealer, this could easily be over $1,000 to fix. So I think that was the main reason why I got this so cheap. It's really not that difficult to switch these intake manifolds out. Now let me say this, I've done this once before. This is the second time I've switched this out. Another Tiguan, same sort of thing. The first time took me a couple of days. I'm not sure the total hours, but it was like I'd work on it until I'd get a little frustrated or whatever else, and I'd stop, pick it up the next day. I think it took me a total of like 3 days to get it all together. I did this one in 3-4 hours. So it's no small job, and I bet you if I did it once more, I could get the time even farther down. The part itself, if you get it online, it's like 150 bucks, no big deal. Switch it out. There's no, as well as what I know, there's no real signs of what's wrong. Even looking at the old one, you can't even really tell, so you're kind of just taking it off and then putting the new one on, and then just hoping that the check engine light doesn't come back on, which is the case here. So let me just start this up. And as you can see, I've driven about 70 miles since we switched this out. So there you go. That was kind of winded, but basically, to get this thing in the shape to sell at the auction with a green light, switched out that intake manifold, pretty easy, cleaned up the car. We're going today to drop it off. The auction's in 2 days, so I'm hoping that I'm hoping this goes well. So I could sell this retail, but I'm a small dealer, so I'm just trying to stay on top of everything. Obviously, if I put this on the lot and sold it retail, I could get even more, but that could take twice as much time, whereas just selling at the auction's pretty quick. So I'll put this on the trailer, enough talking, and head up to the auction. We're all loaded up, and that's how you load a car without using the ramps. So one benefit to having a crazy steep driveway. But anyway, car looks good. Looks like it's about to rain, so I guess what difference does that make? But car's all strapped up, and I'll probably just pick this up tomorrow. I'll record the auction. And we'll see how it goes. Otherwise, yeah, stay tuned for the next clip. But for me, that's going to be in 2 days. But anyway, stay tuned. Okay, guys, so this is 3 weeks later from when we first took the Tiguan to the auction. And like the title says, it took 3 weeks, right? Yeah, 3 weeks to sell the car. So this time I recorded all of them, whether I was happy or not. I still recorded them. So let's jump to the first time, or the first week that this ran at the auction. Okay, so there you have it. The first time going across. I don't even know what it went for. I'm sure the clip will let us all know. But it was like 6,800, 6,900 or something like that. Now at the auction, you can always negotiate to try and see if you can come to some sort of agreement. That is, if it's under your reserve. In this case, I was at an $8,000 reserve, so kind of a big difference. Anyway, we went back and forth a couple of times and settled on 7,500, which honestly, looking back compared to the other weeks, is pretty good. But anyway, let's it ended at 7,500, and I declined it, and I just said, okay, we'll run it again next week. Part of the reason was the auction, sometimes they're really bad at being on top of things, and so they weren't able to get the condition report of the car done before the auction, which can really affect the sale of the car sometimes. Just being that nobody knows if it runs or drives. You know, it's kind of a big question mark. Whereas if it has a condition report, at least you know you're not buying a car that has a blown motor. Now let's look at the second week.
16 model Tiguan, and I'm going to get 9, and 9, 65, 66, 67, 67, 108 here, 68, 9, 69, 109, but
So the second week ran, and honestly it ended up just about the same spot. This was the same sort of thing. I decided at this point 7,500 sounded not too bad. So I believe I countered with 7,800, and they countered back with declined. So instantly it was like, oh man, we're running this for a third week, which really I just try and sell the car the first week it runs, unless, like this, in this case, the condition report wasn't done, so I thought it would make a big difference, but for whatever reason it ended up kind of in the same spot. Okay, so fast forward to today, and let's look at the clip of today, the car running today.
Trying to buy it, 45,000. Next one in line's 129. Here comes a 16 model Tiguan with a green light here. Miles to the right hand, you're going to get that grant. $8,000 here. Somebody get 800, somebody get 8, you're going to get 65, 66, 67, 6,800 to you. 6,800 Chase, you're going to get 800, somebody get 800. 6,800, somebody get 7, 800, down 9. 69 here, ditch it down 7. 7 grand to you, so roll the car. Over to get 71, 7,100. 7 grand, you're going to get down 1, you're going to get 100, you're going to get 71, you're going to get 100, you're going to get phone call. $7,000.
As you can see, it pretty much did the same thing every week. Now today it ended up higher than anything else. Now I was really not wanting to run the car again, and I really didn't want to kind of push it. 7,000. Here's the thing with the Tiguan, I bought it at such a price. All of these weeks I would have made money. The thing that kind of kills me even today is the auction's given the car a value of $8,000. So all of these, if you ask me, are pretty low bids, pretty low offers, just because it really should be closer to that $8,000 range. Anyway, so it ended up at 7,000. At 7,000, I would still be making decent money. I think it was like 800 bucks or something. And I debated about just accepting it. If I just push a little bit, I might be able to get just a little bit. So I decided, let's see. So I decided to counter at 7,500. And I waited. It was about an hour, maybe an hour and a half, until they finally responded with 7,200, which is just typical. I could almost predict that. I really was wanting, you know, really 7,500, which I know that's the thing. Hindsight is always 2020. We're just trying to get back to that first week, which obviously, if I knew, I would have just accepted that first week, and then we would have been on to the next car by now. But you never really know. So I decided I didn't want to just get a decline, so I put in 7,500. They came back with 7,200. 7,500 would have been nice, but honestly, back in my mind, I thought if I could only get to 7,200, that would push me right over to right over $1,000 of profit on this car. So that at least would feel good, kind of going over that $1,000 mark. And so I accepted it. I gave him the title. I'm here at the auction, gave him the title, got the check, and we're done. So it's off to the next car. It's funny how this is just so much of a just revolving door. Making $1,000 on a wholesale is good all day long. So thanks guys, thanks for watching.